Hello and welcome. This is Alchemist X, and this is the weekly update for what was supposed to be the week of the 27th of January, but thanks to the extended maintenance, it didn't really start until later on the 28th. So this week, we just have one new unit as part of the continuing Crystal of Reunion / Brave Frontier collab. And then that's a collab in quotes because it is a Gumi property, so it is nice that these units can potentially come back and get further upgrades, and you don't have to worry about contracts, that kind of thing. So the unit in question is Dark Olivier. I talked a little bit about her on the last video I did, like once the game came back up from maintenance. But you could definitely just think of her as a Yauras type unit, just of the Thunder element, just evasion. A couple differences is that she's got some strong versus beast going on, and she's also got some shield / cover bypassing move as well, so a little bit of extra utility, but otherwise evasive / unit with an evading snowball, that kind of thing. And exactly the same as Masakado in terms of scarcity, fairly easy to get. There is a challenge board that if you get her, you can get like a 200 extra shards in addition to the 100 shards you get from the quest that you can do 7 times. And then same kind of banner too, which we'll go over that more in the banner overview. Another thing I wanted to touch on is that it looks like Sada's Gate 2 is working. Hopefully this is the case for everyone, but it took a while, at least for it to show up properly on my Sada. But now, as we can see, it's got the Gate 2 thing going on. We got the +2 range here and the +1 range here, and then if you look at the details you can see that's +3 range, so it appears to be working, at least as far as I can tell from the one time I use Sada in a day is usually on that super XP quest, but hopefully that is back in order. But on the downside, it sounds like Zen has been broken by this most recent update, so they don't really say much other than he's not working as intended, and we are advised not to use him, so don't know what that means. Hopefully they get that fixed because Zen's a good unit. So as far as maps go, there is a special Lunar New Year's quest that you can do once a day. Just Lambert, map-wide, nuke the enemies, get some random enlightenment type stuff. And then there's a new quest for Dark Olivier's weapon, used to kind of showcase the unit. Definitely worth getting the milestones for the elemental and enlightenment shards, if for no other reason. And then there's also port battle. I don't really do those because my port's not really big enough. Hopefully the day late on the maintenance didn't mess people up too badly on that. But I hope that in that case that they offer some kind of compensation. But otherwise, there is not a whole lot of other content. Oh, actually, wait. If you don't have Magnus's Job Plus, I definitely recommend getting it. You'll find it in the special quest / event kind of thing. It's really good. Disable support is occasionally really, really, really good to have. And he's got a lot of CC. If you see a lot of Magnuses in the arena, it's because he's got good ways of stopping and doing other status effects. So definitely very, very solid job. So with that, let's move on to the banner overview. And here we are at the banners. So this week is the last week to use the discount tickets for the month. So there's a couple of paid banners that are going to disappear at the end of tonight, and then there's a few more that will be here for the remainder of the week. The first of which I think is too expensive. Interesting gimmick on the third step, but you have to spend $90 to get there, to have a 1/3 chance, or to pick 1 out of 3 among a really good pool of units, but still expensive. Then we've got the collab style paid banner where just one of them is guaranteed, and if you own them you get 150 shards. This could be good for some people. Just depends on what you want and what you need. The less bad outcomes there are potentially. If you like all of these units, it's great. If you only like 2 of them, maybe not so great. But otherwise pretty straightforward. Then we've got one that will be here for the rest of the week that I just don't think is worth it. It's just too similar to the free gem style. Same thing with the relief summons. We get a lot of reliefs for free. So I just don't think it's worth spending gems, let alone paid gems. Then there is a kind of interesting one where it's you're guaranteed to get one of these units and then the rest of it's soul shards. Honestly, I think that really only Genesis units are worth going for this kind of banner because their shards are just that hard to get. Like, because if you want shards, and you have the units already, these characters all have EX hard quests. And if you still want to acquire them, I think it's better to have more control over what you're acquiring. Like, and all of these units can show up in the Louise shop potentially, or there'll be opportunities like the 3 steps that I will talk about shortly. But first, there is a 3-step for Dark Olivier. Now, I would definitely recommend the 9-step if you want to get her. This could be handy if you happen to be transmuting and you had some bad RNG. As I say sometimes, if there's either only one unit on it or you get a selector on the 3rd step, then there could be some utility. But if it's totally RNG what soul shards you get, then I never recommend them. So my opinion has not changed on that style. Below that, we've got a pretty interesting banner as far as limited units are concerned. So it only costs 1,500 gems, and it's got 5 steps total, and each step the rate for getting limiteds increases. So that's kind of cool. I just remember that not all limited units are the same. There are limited units you can get for free that honestly, I really don't think they should be considered limited. Like, it'd be nice if they just converted them to normal pool like they did with the Sacred Stone units. Because if like units like, I mean, good units like Wilhelm and Nefertiti, but they're just not the same scarcity, because if you can get 3 shards a day from them and you don't need to own them to get it. So just keep in mind that those kinds of units can dilute this pool. So if you're really, really lacking in limited units, it still might be worthwhile. But if you're a veteran who's only missing a few, probably not. Then we've got 3 steps, which are all structurally very similar. In general, I don't think they're good to get units, but if they have a selector on the 3rd step and those 25 shards might make a difference to like transmute, or heck, even maybe getting a gate or something, and you've got discount tickets, then it might be worthwhile. If you can like meet or exceed the Louise shop shard to gem ratio, then that can be handy. But otherwise, they're definitely not preferable. Then we've got the most ideal way to get Dark Olivier, I think, for most people, especially if you've got all your discount tickets stacked up. Pretty straightforward. Guaranteed to get her on step 9. If you're lucky, you'll get her before then. But definitely not too bad. I like that when they have these, because just taking as much RNG out of the equation as you possibly can is nice. And then in this case, you know, the only real RNG would be pulling early, which is a good thing. So we've got a coin banner for this group of limited units, who I happen to like all of them, some a little bit more than others, but it's a good solid pool. But I'd really only recommend doing this banner if you have a specific plan for what you want to do with the coins. Like, say you want to get Zex more enlightened or something, that could definitely be worthwhile to get. And then if you happen to pull a unit or get 100 shards of them, then that's great. Then there's a pretty run-of-the-mill Limit Break Festival type banner. If you're not at all interested in the collab and you still have discount tickets to burn, this could be a really good place to do it. Good way to pick up limited units, especially if you're free to play. And then last but not least is a Lost Blue themed banner for mementos. So you get 5 reliefs at the end of this, and as well as a selector. However, I would say it's really only worth going all the way on this if you either like don't have any of the Templar mementos and you want to get a bunch of them, or you just want Zex, because none of them are limited except for Zex's memento, which is it's quite good. And especially if you want to use them, especially if you want to use them in arena, you're going to want to get it max limit broken. So you could accomplish that in 7 steps, which is definitely not too bad. But otherwise, I wouldn't recommend it as much. So yeah, that's all I got for the banners this week. Now, unfortunately, I accidentally deleted my footage where I was using the tickets for the mementos and for the summons that we got as like compensation for the maintenance. The memento one was not all that special. I got like a duplicate of Raymaze. I didn't get anything new. Got some duplicates of some good mementos, but otherwise kind of unremarkable. But the unit one, though, was remarkable because I got a unit that I'd been wanting for kind of a while, who had been very, very, very elusive. I got her memento, actually multiple copies of her memento. Yeah, multiple copies. So it happened right after I burned all my wind shards on Masakato, but you know, that's just how it goes sometimes. So I'm sorry I accidentally deprived you of that like fun pull, but I'm still pretty happy about the results of that. So if you are going for Dark Olivier, I wish you good luck. And with that, I will see you all next time.